Now,
Schauntte Parker, yeah, speaking about the life of the book, yeah.
hold on, let me put the comment section on.
Hold on 1 second, I'm gonna mute the phone. I'm downtown. I'm gonna mute the phone for like 1 minute. Hold on.
Okay, do your thing. Hold on, I'm gonna get him a chance to come on in. Hold on. Plus, I'm about to share it. Peace, baby. I see you. Let me share this right quick. How's your night going, beautiful? Hold on. Yeah, I already know how to do that. Hold on. Johnny said he put it on mute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I'm putting it in all of the groups and stuff for you, Tay. Hold on. What's good? So, man, you already know what it is. Finally chilling. You know how it is. Oh, look at you getting smooth. Dig that. Yeah, they all coming in and following this building. Matter of fact, Tay, you there? Okay, freeze.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Okay, go ahead. Hold on.
Yeah.
You need some
Yeah, I'm
moves,
a little late. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, call.
I just
Yeah,
be
just
messing with you. Hold on.
yeah. Call Uber. Call Uber. I'm gonna check with you. I'm gonna check with y'all like an hour and a half. I'll be through that. All right. All right.
Yeah, I've got it. Let me share it in 3 more groups.
Huh?
I'm sharing, putting the video in them groups, Tay.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me give y'all some music right quick. She said it's hella weirdos on YouTube. Yeah, that's for that. Yeah, that's for damn sure. And that's why the youth appreciates channels like these, because you got so many busters. Hold on. Fuck it. I'll end up sharing it later. Matter of fact, when everybody started talking, I'll finish putting it in the groups. But as of right now, man, y'all are being blessed right now. I got the legendary Schauntte Parker, on right now. Like I said in a previous video, a lot of y'all really don't know who Schauntte is. Some of y'all had the opportunity to see Schauntte, in American Pimp. And when you seen him in American Pimp, you seen him in little scenes here and there, but you really didn't know how cold and how fly, Schauntte really was, man, because American Pimp really didn't give you that. You know what I'm saying? So, tonight we gonna get, just a little bit, because in all actuality, if we was to find out how Fly Tate was, when he was doing this thing, and still doing this thing even now, eternity wouldn't even be long enough. So without further ado, I just want to sit up there and say, it's a pleasure to talk to you one more time, Tay. Hello?
Yes, always a pleasure, Sefo.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to kick it with you and Freeze and Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Because there ain't too many real P's that's really, really down and real about it, doing their thing, man.
Yeah.
A lot of fakers and shakers, man, and they making it look like it's real, but it really ain't, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely got a lot of, as I like to say, male actresses out, but I want to ask you, where are you originally from? What city?
I'm originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay. And
yeah.
And did you come up in like a 2-parent or 1-parent home, or?
I came up in a 1-parent home. I came up we just had moms. Me and my 3 brothers. Just had moms. You know what I'm saying? So, the moms was good, doing her thing. Working during the day and going to school at night. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get that teacher's degree, man. So, we had a lot of idle time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And I was just fortunate that one apartment away from where we live, was this the only real pimp in the town. Nigga built a house from the ground up, down there in Venice. You know what I'm saying? And during that era, man, wasn't nothing like today. Wasn't no computers and none of that stuff, man. So, all your activities was outside. Everybody was outside. You know what I'm saying? So being outside, you seen everything going on.
So you say Venice? So you moved to Venice when you was young?
Yeah. We moved from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Out here, we came to California, and we settled in Venice. Yeah. And during that time, Venice was, Venice was rocking and socking it, man. Venice was a real hood, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And like I say, man, this nigga Gintz, man, only pimp in the town, man. They had a lot of hustlers, but he was the only real pimp in the town, man. We'd be out in the street playing that football, man, and during that time, man, I kept 3 or 4 girlfriends, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Always was the ladies' man.
Yeah, exactly right. And then they should always see me, man. And he took a liking to me, man. And he was like, "Man, you want a job, man?" And I was like, "Paying money?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I want a job, man." I said, "Yeah, I want it, man." I said, "When do I start?" He said, "Man, you ain't even asked what the job is." I said, "Man, as long as it's making some money, man, I want the job, man." And then he said, "Man, you gotta, he said you gotta watch that." I'm like, "What you mean?" He said, "Man, that shit." He said, "I could have said that, the job is selling up dog shit, man. You understand what I'm saying?"
Right.
Or eat garbage, man. He said, "I could have said that, man." He said, lesson number 1, don't make no commitment unless you know what you're committing to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that right there, that statement always stuck with me after that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was simple. I was just hungry, man. I wanted to make some money, man. You know what I'm saying, man?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when was it when you had moved, from Michigan and you came to Cali? Like, how old was you at that time when you came over to Cali?
When I came to Cali, I was 14, man.
Okay.
It was during that real era, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about when, you know, it was just before they started letting black people vote, man. You know that wasn't until '62, man.
Yeah.
People don't really know that, man. You know, that was '62, man. You know.
Yeah, they say that Venice back in the day, man, was like, as far as poverty levels, shit, Venice was just as bad, if not worse, than Watts.
Yeah, exactly. That's right, man. You know,
That was real fucked up around there back in the days.
Yeah, because what had happened was that, the white folks, they was like in control, you know. Then a lot of black people started moving in, and the shit, they moved in and kind of took the town over, and which few was left in the town, they all went to the beach.
Right.
And went back down to that beach area, you know what I'm saying? And it was just so funny, man. You in Venice, you walk 4 blocks and cross Main Street, and you was in a whole different world, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's Schauntte. That's Schauntte speaking, and the other person you hear speaking, yeah, that's Freeze. That's Freeze in the back. Right now, I got Freeze and Schauntte on the line. Johnny Cash had to click over. But
No, I'm back here.
Oh, okay, Johnny back. So, right now Tay is walking us down, and the person that you heard co-signing and speaking on the side, that was Freeze. But go ahead, what was you saying, Tay?
Yeah, I was saying during that time, before when I first got to the town, they had the town set up like Venice, Italy.
Okay.
Had the little canals and all that. You know what I'm saying? And then all the black people got to moving in, man. And when they got to moving in, all them white folks that had some money, they took it on down to the beach area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what was always intriguing to me about the town, man. All you had to do was walk 4 blocks, cross Main Street, and you was in a whole new world, man. That beach area, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, where all them rich white folks had that paper, man. So shit, we used to go down there and terrorize their ass getting our money, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
that was a daily thing, man. But,
so what age would you say, that you was compelled, to be in the game? Like what was it? You know what I mean? What happened? What transpired? You know what I mean? Like I know it wasn't like the new day now where, a cat hear a new R&B song or a sugar-free song or something, and he say, you know what, I want to be a pimp today. Like what transpired to make Schauntte want to be a pimp?
Well, that was, man, I tell you, man, I always kept 3, 4 girlfriends, man. And then when I started working for Gents, that was his name. That was a pimpin' nigga named Gents. I started working with him, man. And this nigga had like a 7-bedroom house, and he kept 5 or 6 bras, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was running his errands for him and going to the store for him. And then I was 15. He taught me how to drive. But my mom on the weekend, she'd go down to San Diego, spend the weekend with a little boyfriend, and then that's what he teach me how to drive. In the process of me running errands for him, he was getting popping up game at me, man. I'm talking about every day, man, showing me this, showing me that, man, and kicking the game, man, telling me, what the do's and the don'ts, man, and this nigga was grooming me, man, and that started when I was really for a team, man. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
know, and this went on, man, until I was about to graduate from high school. I was 17, you know, and I could play that ball, man. I had like 7, 8 letters from different universities to go play some football, man, you know, and I'd always show him to the nigga. He's like, yeah, man, that you know, all that's good, man. You know, he said, it's good, man. He said, I'm always at every game, man. You know, watching you play. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, man. You know, he said, you one of the niggas that's gonna make it, man. You know, so I get to be a senior, you know, and show him the letters, the university, from different universities. I said, man, I'm trying to make up my mind, man, what school I'm gonna go to, man. You know, and he said, man, you know what, man? He said, I got a real school for you, man. I was like, what's that, man? He said, come on in here, man. So we go in his house, man. You know, and he had this little young bitch, man, this little young tenderoni, man. You know, and I really liked it, bro. That was his turnout, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man, he was like, man, he was pimping on this bitch, man, every day, man. You know, now I'm watching, I'm all ears, man. You know what I'm saying, man? So, make a long story short, I go in there. He said, man, this is a scholarship I'm giving you like this right here. So the nigga he said, now which one you want to do? He said, let me see. He said, it's 4 years in college. You know, he said, if you get hurt, you know, then you're done. He said, so let me ask you this question. Do you want to wait 4 years? He said, but you going to college to get some money in the end when you finish. He said, so you want to wait 4 years? Or you want to take this bad, fine little young motherfucker right now and go get you some real money, live like a king? He said, decision up to you. He said, I'm just going to really see. He said, you always been smart, nigga. I always like that in you. You know, you smart, you're intelligent. You know, you ain't no bad looking nigga. You know, he said, but I'm just going to see how smart you are. You know, now, what scholarship you going to take, man? You know, he said, you like this pimp? He said, you like this pimping? I said, man, yeah, I like the pimping. Yeah, I like the game, nigga. I said, you know, yeah, man. I said, shit, nigga, I you know, I want to do it like you do it, man. I said, I just ain't sure that that's my thing, man. I said, I'm sure I can play that ball, man. But I don't know if I can do it like you do.
Right.
You know? He's like, man, shit, nigga, as long as I've been grooming you, man, you know, you ready, man. You can do it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know? He said, the bitch ready, she already turned out, man. He said, so I'm gonna ask you again, man, what scholarship do you want, man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said, man, shit, man. I said, man, I'm taking the bitch, man. I said it just like that. He said, nigga, what you say? I said, man, I'm taking the bitch, man. You know, and I'm gonna go pimp on her, man. You know, just like you, man. You know, man, that nigga smile like a motherfucker, man. He always call me young blood. You know what I'm saying? He like young blood, you know. Here the keys, you know. Take them other foes of mine with you, you know, and you know, take that young bitch, man, you know, going up there on Broadway and Slauson and get your money, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? You know.
Oh, so that was a track back then, Broadway and Slauson?
Yeah, actually it was Broadway from Adams downtown all the way to Manchester, which is that shit. That was about 100 blocks, man. You know?
Yeah, I'm already knowing. Yeah, downtown to Manchester.
Yeah, with holes on every corner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. You know, yelling that shit 10 and 2. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, that's how that shit was starting off, 10 and 2, 10 for the day, 2 for the room. But you know shit that came a long way since then, man. You know, the whole out of 10 and 2, baby. I show you what to do. You know what I'm saying, man? So that shit, it really didn't advance since then, because that was 66. But then after 66, all that changed. That 10 and 2 shit went out the window, man. And everything changed. You know, everything advanced, man. You know, but that track was there forever, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I probably had the broad down, man, for maybe about a month. And nigga had a bad habit, man. He liked to gamble with them niggas down there, man, in Venice, man.
Yeah.
And I be there, man. I be there with him, man. I just side bet, man. I ain't never been no dice shaker, but I be there with him, man. Just side bet, man, and kind of, just wiring him, man. Watch him, I admire this nigga, man. Then after the game, always breaking because big bank tacked a little bank, man. So the nigga would always break him. The nigga was very seldom win, man. They'd only win when he got tired of, shooting them dice, man.
Right.
So I asked him, I said, damn, man. Man, why you do that, man? He said, why I do what? I said, man, why you gamble with them niggas, man? I said, man, them niggas be talking about you behind your back, man. Them niggas jealous. I said, man, them niggas don't like you, man. And I said, plus you keep breaking them niggas, man. Them niggas be mad at you, man. I said, I don't say nothing, man. I just stay back and listen what they say when you leave, man. I said, why you even waste your time, man? Why you even mess with them? He's like, man, 'cause I like breaking them niggas. I like keeping them niggas broke, man. He said, I see the look in their eyes. I know them niggas don't like me, man. I said, man, why you keep fucking with them niggas, man?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. He said, I told you, but I enjoy breaking them, man. I like making them niggas mad. He said, I know they're envious, man. So one day, bro, to give me like $300. That was big money during them times, man.
$300. Hold on. What year was it, Tay?
That was like 69, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So come back, man. I bring his bras back, man. We come back, man, and can't pull up to the street. Can't get down the street, man. Street full of police, man, and niggas like, what the fuck is going on, man? So I get out the car, man, and wade through the crowd, and niggas talking about, man, that nigga dead, man. I was like, man, what you talking about, man? It was like, man, the nigga was shooting dice, man. That nigga gets broken, man. They shot that nigga in the head, man. I was like, what, man? So after that happened, man, that was like a dark period for me, man. I didn't even want to be in the game no more, man.
Yeah.
I was just, you know what I'm saying, man? That took a lot out of me right there, man.
I can see why. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my idol, man. That was like my backbone.
How old was he?
Huh?
How old was he?
He was I think was like in his 30s, man.
Damn. Young Pimp.
So he was early.
He was a young pimp, man. Getting it, man. That nigga just had that gift, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they would ride through the town, man, and kept a new Cadillac every year. And they would ride through the town, man, with the top down, man. All them hoes in there bumping that music. And motherfuckers just be looking, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at that nigga, man, But, you know how it is, man, when you're in the hood. A lot of niggas be jealous, man. They be angry, man, because they ain't got that hustle, they ain't got that gift, man. So in their mind, they rather try to take what you got, than to put their thinking cap on and go and get their own shit, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I learned that early, so I can see that, man. I always say to myself, man, they gonna get this nigga one day, man. And I know that's what they was thinking. Cause I'd hear, man, every time that nigga would leave, they talk shit, man.
Yeah.
And we all rob that nigga, all that kind of shit, man. And I would tell that nigga, man, that nigga would go right back, man, and gamble with them niggas again, man. And I told him every time, man, but
like I always say, man, you can't continue to eat at the buffet in front of people that can't afford to eat at the salad bar. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is hungry, right. And a lot of times pimps, Macs, hustlers, D-boys, card crackers, they not conscious of the fact that everybody not eating. So since everybody not eating, you know what I mean, somebody getting ready to get robbed, somebody getting ready to get killed, and as heartless as this may sound, you know what I mean, to the Pimpin or the D-boy or whoever, I just understand it. I understand the game. And when I say the game, I'm talking about bigger than Pimpin. You know what I'm saying? I understand that motherfuckers is hungry. So when I come back, I don't come back to the hood on some like, you know what I mean, this is me and you niggas ain't doing nothing type shit, man. You better come back with some food or a table big enough, you know what I mean, for them niggas to eat up on. Otherwise, motherfuckers is gonna eat you. So yeah, I'm real sad that happened to the ism, man, to the pimping though.
That's right, man. You definitely right about that, man. Because I never really had another partner. I remember that nigga Ike Mon. That was his name, Ike Mon. You know him, Cash? You ever heard of him?
Yeah, I heard the stories of Ike Mon. Damn right.
Yeah, man. You know, this nigga was pimping in Hollywood like a motherfucking man. Stayed 6, 7, 8 deep, man. Always rolled brand new, and nigga was just a pimping ass motherfucker, man. And that nigga, man, that put in his years in the game, man. That nigga said, man, I'm finna give it up for a minute, man. I'm fixing to go home, man. I was like, Ike, nigga, you know, I said, Ike, it's okay to go home and visit, man. I said, man, don't go plant your feet in there, man. It's my hometown, man. I know everybody, this and that, that. I said, man, that's why you shouldn't do that, man. You know?
You telling them right?
Anyway, I go down there, man, and buy the ex-governor's house. You know? I think it was outside in the suburbs or something, man. And that man wasn't there yet.
Shelby County. It was like Shelby County. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is one of them old hoes set him up, right? Said nigga was waiting in the closet on something and shot him from the closet or some shit like that and killed him, man.
Yeah. Right him in his own home, huh?
Yeah, his home. Yeah, they don't know really what happened. It was so many different stories told. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm saying that nigga was in the mansion, man. You know what I'm saying? You know? So
he said he liked to do a lot of gambling and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Go down to the casino and hit them people for hundreds of thousands like it wasn't nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was one of them kind of niggas, man, like that, like, you know, everything that nigga touched turned to gold, man. He had that gift, man. You know what I'm saying? He had them blessings on him like that, man. You know? But that's why I'm just saying that to say, man, you know, sometimes, man, it's okay to go home to visit, man, but like you say, Sinful, you know, you got to bring the buffet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
Now, what age, you know, did you start pimping, and where did you start pimping, Tay?
Actually, I started pimping, man, when I was like 19, man. What had happened is that after Jess got killed, me and my partners, man, we started doing that little robbery thing down there in Venice. Then I got busted, and my mom said, you know what? You ain't gonna, you might have been being raised here, but you ain't gonna die here. So my mom, we moved to LA. Then we moved to LA, and I hooked up with some of them LA niggas, you know, and during that time, you know, they had the banks and they had the savings and loan companies. So during that time, all the money was in the savings and loan companies. You know what I'm saying? You know? So wasn't no SWAT, wasn't no cameras, you know, wasn't none of that kind of stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So we started knocking off them joints like that, man. You know, so I wound up getting busted. Went to youth authority, and when you got youth authority, they always give you a bus ticket, take you down to the bus terminal, and drop you off, you know, with $200. So they take me down to the bus terminal, drop me off with $200. There's a white bitch sitting down there, you know, fine as a motherfucker. I knew this bitch was a hoe. You know, got all this nice luggage and, you know, bitch up there crying, you know. I just started pimping at the bitch, man.
Yeah.
You know. It wind up, I was 19, wind up knocking the bitch and shit, we took it to Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
And that's what a nigga really turned out. That was like, actually, it was like 1970. Yeah. Yeah, that was like 70, man. Yeah, man.
And just for the record, you know what I mean? Like I said, American Pimp didn't give you guys this. You know what I'm saying? And from the documentary, You know, just like, you know, of course, you know, Johnny Cash know because Johnny Cash fuck with the old school and the old school fuck with Johnny Cash. The old school fuck with me, and that's the only reason why I knew. But if you had watched American Pimp, you would have been under the impression that Rosebud was pimping before Schauntte, and or you know what I mean, a Bud was just, and they ain't taking nothing from Bud because Rosebud is a pimping motherfucker and he was bad. But at the same particular time, if you just look at that film, you know, by itself, it'd just, you know, it was like Tay was just some little guy or something. But if you talk to the legendary pimps of ancient times, man, that's a motherfucking lie, man. Tay was a giant, nigga. You know what I mean? So y'all really being blessed right now, man. I got the Museum of Game on the phone right now. So, okay. Tay was 19 years old. Do you remember the bride's name, Tay?
Yeah, man. Actually, the broad's name was Shelby, but I started calling that bitch Marilyn, man.
Yeah.
Because she's a fine, blind, you know, thick-looking motherfucker, man. I started calling that bitch Marilyn, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
man.
And when you started at that particular time, back in you said 1970?
Yeah.
Okay. At that time in 1970, who was doing their thing in 1970 in Hollywood?
Shit, in Hollywood, the nigga James Langford and
Joe Langford or James?
James. Oh, Joe Langford Joe Langford never really came to Hollywood. Joe Langford stayed down there, you know, in the bottoms, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and it was Hollywood Gene, nigga named Silver. Who else? Fillmore would come through once in a while. You know, during that time, we kind of stayed at odds with them niggas, with them Bay Area niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know?
the southern northern things. Yeah.
Yeah. Then who else I met? I met the nigga Dominic, bald head skit from New York. Nigga named Goldie. Maurice Snyder, just a crew of niggas, man. We was all getting our feet wet, man. You know, all of us, man. You know.
Was Joe active was Joe Cato active at that time?
No, Joe Cato came in a few years later. I think Joe Cato came into town, man. Like, let me see, I met Rosebud in 76.
Yeah.
You know, because Bud came to town and Bud had one little blonde white broad, man, and you know, didn't too many people in the town knowing, plus the nigga was from the Bay, so they didn't really take the Bud too well. You know what I'm saying? Me and I never will forget it, so funny, nigga had rings on every finger, man, and I see the nigga, man, and I was just roll right past him, because nigga wasn't really, in my mind, nigga wasn't really big enough to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? and then it was this car wash on Sunset that all the pimps and all the entertainers and actors, they'd all go get their car wash right there on Fairfax and on Sunset and Sunset right off of Crescent Heights. And I ran into the nigga, man, and we started kicking it, man, and started lacing Bud up, man, the way the nigga had been laced. He had a hoe. That nigga wasn't laced all the way like he's supposed to be, man. Then, the nigga, that nigga tell you, man, shit. I gave it to that nigga the right way, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That nigga started knocking, man, and it kept growing, man.
And started pimping on the Hollywood level. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then that nigga went home after that nigga had been pimping on the Hollywood level for a few years. That nigga went home, man, and got all kind of static from the niggas up there in the Bay, man. They talking about, oh, you a Hollywood nigga now, huh? This and that. So I don't know about today, but that North and South thing always been going on, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like that West and the East Coast shit always been going on. Not, I ain't talking about to the point of no killing or nothing like that, but I'm talking about that competition thing, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, see, plus a lot of, you know, Cali and Memphis niggas, you know, we'd infiltrate New York, but them niggas wouldn't come out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
New York niggas wouldn't go to Cali.
No, man, hell no, they won't bring their pimping out to Cali. No, but we go there. We go there and get out, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Memphis niggas, them niggas will go everywhere. You know, shit, the niggas infiltrate the Hollywood, man. Shit, man. You know, but what I liked about the Memphis niggas, man, them niggas catch them thieves, man. You know, and I got real close with a lot of them niggas, man. You know, a lot of them, man. But the niggas wouldn't get it. The niggas wouldn't give a nigga that thieving game. You know that, Cash.
Yeah.
Cash. Yo, he ain't on there.
He probably had to click over because it's still showing that.
I'm right here. I just had it on.
Hey, Cash, did you hear me, man?
Yeah, I heard you say about the thieving game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say no matter how I got real close with all the niggas, man. You know, Cash, the niggas wouldn't get that up, man. You know?
Man, that's like sacred, man. That's like the Holy Grail, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
They still.
I heard from a couple of old school Memphis PIs, right? They say a lot of guys like, man, I gotta go to Memphis, man, and get me one of them Memphis bitches, man. You know them old.
Yeah.
They say they used to tell them, man, ain't them bitches, niggas, the pimpin', man.
Right.
That's right.
Bitches, man. Go.
That's right.
Shit, we gonna get this to those that need. They hope to come from motherfucking the Himalaya. You understand?
That's right, man. Yeah, I sure experienced that. I can testify to that one right there, man.
Yeah.
You know? But hey, man, I'm telling you, man, in them 70s, in them 80s, man, I'm telling you something. If a nigga ain't never been to a town where it's over 50 pimps, over 50, over 75, and you could count the ones doing bad on one hand. That's how Hollywood was for at least 20 years.
Damn.
You know? I'm serious, man.
Beautiful.
You know? I tell niggas that, and they was like, no, I was like, man, I'm telling you some true shit, man. Hollywood was popping so motherfucking much, man, until, you know, it wasn't 10 niggas. It might have been 10 niggas doing bad, and that's because they didn't have enough game. But other than that, every nigga sending them was doing good, man. You know? That's when niggas was having the round table, man. Nigga, some motherfuckers come from out of town, come to the town, man, you know, with that bullshit, man.
Yeah.
You know, we go to all the pimps in town, we go to that round table, man, you know. And then if the nigga was acting up too much, we go to that round table. Then everybody together, all the pimping, we go check the niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? As a group, man. You know?
Right.
Man, shit, man, pimps had harmony then, man. You know, they go out of town to go somewhere out of state, man. The town popping. They get on that horn, man. Call every nigga in Hollywood. Say, man, we found that honey hole, man. Man, everybody, niggas will leave and be right there, man. Burn that motherfucking track up and move on to the next town, man. Come on back to Hollywood. But I'm talking about the harmony that pimps had, man. Especially that round table, man. That round table, man. We put a whole lot of out-of-town niggas in check, man, about that shit, man. That bullshit they was bringing to the town. Motherfuckers coming in selling pills and all that shit.
Yeah.
They get to that round table, find out who that nigga is, man, go knock on that nigga's door, man.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You slang what you want to slang, man. You understand, nigga? But, ain't no slanging to them hoes, man. You understand what I'm saying? It was that round table harmony shit, man. You know, that shit right there never be back again right there, man. You know?
Hey, Schauntte, I heard stories, man. When y'all roll down some niggas, y'all tell them, nigga, we telling you this one time. We ain't gonna talk about this shit no more now. Next time, if it be a next time, it's gonna be on different motherfucking circumstances. And
that's right.
What y'all mean. And if that nigga down there sold them hoes a grunt or anything look like something, y'all niggas get his ass beat down and ran the fuck out of town.
That's right, man. You know, now I'm saying, and that's another reason why everybody was doing good, man. So they kept it pimping, kept that shit in order, man. You know?
Yeah. Hey.
You know what nowadays, man, it's so far away from that, man. But go ahead.
No. I wanted to ask him because it was a story in Tay's book where he was on the track with this. I forgot the name of the guy. And I think you was trying to give him some advice, Tay, and you and him ended up kind of like getting into like you had to end up beating his ass, man. I think you ended up getting him for the bitch or something like that. I forgot his name. Man, I forgot it's gonna come to me. You and him, huh?
Oh, you talking about the nigga who I was talking about? The nigga who I was talking about. We caught the bras together.
Yeah. I forgot his. What's his name?
The nigga's name was O.
And for the record, you know, I got Tate talking about his book, but before he get off, I'm gonna have him give all the information out so you guys can purchase the book. All my young P's, all the young, you know what I mean, whatever you calling yourself, players max, but especially for you young pimps, man, that's starting in the game. If you notice, I've never sat up there and given my approval to get anyone's book. You know, it's a lot of P's that wrote different books, but because of different things that they said and did, it wasn't accordingly. You know what I mean? And then a lot of times, information, you hear so much information from different representation of the game, you'll get confused. So I never wanted to confuse y'all. You know what I mean? But it's certain P's, when they write a book or whenever they say something, I know they're not going to say something that's stupid or dumb or that's going to send your motherfucking ass off. So that's why I'm strongly encouraging you to get Tay's book, you know what I mean, From Lobby to the Penthouse. He going to give the Facebook information. He going to see Tay. You know what I mean? He not like one of the guys, you know what I mean, that they gave up on life. I know so many, me and Freeze know so many elderly, you know, people, maturing people that just stuck in their ways. They don't know nothing about Instagram. They don't be on Facebook. They don't be, Tay with all of that. You know what I mean? Tay know about everything. You know what I'm saying? And you fuck with Tay. So it's so much inspiration and uncommon information within this book. We're just going to talk about a few stories within that. Tay, can you reminisce in retrospect about that time just a little bit? With you, I forgot, like I said, I forgot his name, but I remember y'all catching them bitches together and you had to end up checking his motherfucking ass.
Yeah. What happened is that, you know, we come up, we catch the bras, man. You know, actually it was a win-win situation because the bras are, down on Santa Monica Boulevard, they had this club that we used to have concerts at, this big old hall down there. So, you know, but it was always work, full of white bitches. So, you know, we ride through, man, and, you know, we meet the bras, and, you know, and I'm like, where y'all from? I'm like, San Diego. I was even San Diego, what y'all doing up here in L.A.? Bros talking about, well, you know, we ran away. I said, y'all came to L.A. to see the bright lights in the big city and the movie stars and, you know, and all the different entertainment, you know. I said, that's why y'all came to Hollywood, huh? And two fine young white bitches, man. And the white bitches like, no, we came to Hollywood to be some hoes. We came to Hollywood to be some pimps. We came to Hollywood to be some hoes.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, what? I was like, well, shit, y'all met the right niggas. You know what I'm saying? We ride and we
dig that.
You know, we ride, we kicking it, then, you know, pull over to the little hamburger stand and get out, and I was like, man, let me talk to you, you know. So I said, man, listen, man, you know, we fixing to pimp on. I already had two white bitches down. I said, man, we finna pimp on these motherfucking bitches, man. You know, I said, that nigga, you gonna owe me, nigga. I said, I'm gonna give you the money to get the hotel room, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you the money to get the bitch your outfit, nigga. I said, but I'm telling you, man, you know, just pimp on this bitch all night, man. You know, just keep the pimping with that bitch all night, man. I said, man, don't stick your dick in that bitch, man. I said, cause the way you start off, nigga, is the way you end up. And they was like, you know, he's one of them arrogant niggas, man, you know, cause, you know, he had a ride in the year and all that, man, and shit. But what happened is the nigga got a little settlement, you know, got him an apartment, got him a car, you know, and, you know, nigga said he wanted to pimp, man, you know. So, but
he decided after the settlement. Yeah.
Huh?
He decided after the settlement that he wanted to pimp.
Yeah, before that, you know, he was doing, you know, before that he was just doing, you know, some hustling, man, and he decided that, you know, he was good at catching, man, tall, dark-skinned nigga, man. You understand what I'm saying? Had a good catch hand, but, you know, that nigga thought with his dick, man. So, you know what I'm saying? He thought that's all he had to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I told him, man. I said, man, I'm telling you, man, you know, pimp on the bitch all night, man. Just kick the game, man. I said, we gonna send these bitches in the morning, man. So he get a room. I get him a room. I get a room, man. So, you know, bitch, I'm fucking with, man, fine young bitch, man. You know, but shit, I'm kicking and pimping all night with the bitch, man. You know, so come the next morning. So I had my hoe. You know, I told her to make sure she come over, you know, before checkout time and, you know, knock on the door so she can meet the other broad. So she knocked on the door, you know, and she walked in, you know, hey daddy, this is my wife, this is my new wife-in-law. Hey girlfriend, how you doing? Shit, you ready to go get a pimp some money? You know, and the young bitch was like, yeah. Taven, he been talking to me all night. And then the little hoe was like, oh no, you mean he been pimping on you all night? She's like, yeah, he been pimping on me all night. Yeah. I'm ready to get some money. White bitch all happy and jolly. She ready. There's a knock at the door, and here come this nigga, you know, with his bitch. Man, open the door, man, the broad looking all, you know, got her eyes all down, man, and all dull, like like a mama done got killed in a car wreck and shit, man, and she, you know, walk in and, you know, Mary, that's the name. I'm like, what's up, Mary? Oh, hi, T, how you doing? You know, then, Sarah, that's the other brother's name.
Yeah.
She said, can I talk to you for a minute? You know, so, you know, all the three of the bros go back and talk, man, you know, and then come back out, and I said to myself, oh shit, this nigga done been up in the pussy, man. I said, this nigga done been up in the pussy, man. I know what can happen, man. Nigga done been up in that pussy, man, instead of pimping at that bitch, man. You know, so what happened is, you know, I take the nigga outside. I said, you did it, didn't you, nigga? Man, what the fuck you talking about, man? I said, you did it, didn't you? They tell you what the fuck you talking about, man? You know, nigga, I know how to pimp. I said, man, you fuck that bitch, man. I said, nigga, I told you to pimp on that bitch, man. I said, man, you fuck that bitch, nigga. Didn't you, nigga? Man, you can't tell me how to pimp, nigga. I do what the fuck I want to, nigga. You know, I know how to pimp. I was like, all right, nigga. I said, all right, man. You know, so we go, you know, go and get the bras from office and send them to work. And then, he didn't even, I was giving my bras instruction, man. I'm just watching, nigga. I'm giving my bras instruction, man. You know, we on the track. They fix to get out the car. You know, so I'm giving them instructions. This nigga ain't said nothing to the bitch. All he said was, oh, baby, you know, give my money. And I said to myself, I'm like, damn, man, this all he's saying to the bitch, man? You know, and I'm pimping these bitches. You remember what I told you? Whoop, this and that. You know, so they go on to work, man. You know, and then I said, I'm gonna be riding by. You understand? I said, but I want y'all to meet me back here at this donut stand in a couple of hours. You know, so I can break you motherfucking bitches. You know, it's like, all right. So a few hours pass, man, and we pull up to the donut stand. You know, the bitch is standing there. So as soon as we pull up and get out the car, you know, all three bitches come walking to the car. Okay, so my bitches walk up and give me my money, you know, but his bitch holding back. And he's like, come here, bitch, what you doing? Come here, bitch. You know, what the fuck wrong with you? So the bitch started walking towards the nigga and then ran behind me, man, and grabbed hold of my waist, man. You know, I want to be with you, Tay. I want to be with you. I don't want to be with him. I don't want to be with him. You know, I don't like his style. I like your style. And the nigga's like, bitch, bring your motherfucking ass here.
Oh,
and the nigga started walking up on the bitch, man. The nigga started walking up on the bitch, and the bitch like, here, Tay, here, I'm choosing you. I don't know, I think the bitch had about $477 or some shit like that, you know. That nigga's like, grab for the bitch. Bitch, I said, bring your motherfucking ass here. Never seeing the bitch reach me the money. You know, nigga got fire in his eyes. He want to beat this bitch ass, man. You know, because she holding on to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, hold up, nigga. Hold up, man. I said, man, you know, nigga, you see the bitch give me the money, man? That bitch done chose, nigga. That's my bitch, man. You can't be putting your hands on that bitch. He's like, man, you a cross-artist motherfucker, man. You know? He said, man, you sick them hoes on that bitch. I said, man, I wouldn't even do you like that, nigga. You my partner, nigga. We down together. I said, why would I do that, man? I said, I ain't no foul nigga like that. You know? I said, but I'm telling you this, man. That bitch done chose, nigga. You know, you ain't got no authority on that bitch, nigga. You can't put your hands on that bitch, nigga.
Yeah.
And that nigga was like, I'm gonna put my hands on you. I said, man, don't do that, nigga. We've been friends too long, nigga. Don't do that, man. I said, man, please don't do that, man.
Please.
You know, I said, nigga, you never could box, nigga. You understand what I'm saying, nigga?
Yeah.
You know, I said, don't do that. Before I get that out, that nigga swung on me, man. You know, and I just ducked, man, and, you know, put a few in that nigga's gut, man. You know, and then a couple across the nigga's face, man, that chin, and dropped him. You know, but when the nigga fell on the concrete, that nigga's head hit the concrete, man. You know, scared the shit out of me, man. I thought that nigga was dead, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he just laid there, man. And the bitch was like, let's go, daddy, let's go. I was like, nah, I gotta see about my partner. You know, I said, y'all going back to work. I'll see y'all later. So, plus the nigga's car was there. I ain't got no ride. This a nigga my ride. You understand what I'm saying? You know, so I wait till the nigga come through, man. You know, and I said, man, I asked you not to do that, man. I asked you not to do that, nigga. I said, and I told you, man, game gonna keep eating you up, nigga. I said, because you don't try to listen. Nigga, you don't know more about the game than me. I said, nigga, I said, I'm shit, nigga. I'm 3 deep, nigga. What the fuck you talking about, nigga? What you mean I don't know nothing about the game, nigga? You know, I said, you got a car in the apartment, nigga, but you ain't got no game, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He didn't know how to.
I said, nigga, I'm make sure you all right, man.
Hey, Freeze.
Yeah.
I don't mean to, cause you know me, bro. I ain't perfect, but you know how crazy my mind is. Well, I'm just visualizing Tay dropping this nigga in front of them hoes, and I could just see them bitches. Even though you know me, Tay ain't gonna say it, but I know them bitches pussy got wet in this motherfucker, sitting over there like, oh my god, look at the way my daddy just dropped this nigga. You know them bitches be liking that shit. Be like, oh my god, he dropped him.
Yeah, they was hot and bothered behind that one.
Oh hell yeah! I've never seen daddy like this. Oh my god. Yeah.
Man, that nigga come from the same place, man, you know, so, you know, I really like the nigga, man. I want a nigga, you know, we used to always talk about, you know, having shit, man, but the nigga, man, you know, see, that's why I say a lot of niggas just don't have it in them. Nigga might can catch good, because he wasn't no bad looking nigga, tall, skinny nigga, man, you know, had the tools, man, had the ride, you know, had the apartment. That was in 73. That nigga had 73 Eldorado, man. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I mean, but the nigga it just wasn't in him, man.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in him, man. You You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he went through his whole career like that, catching a bitch, having her for a week or two, and then losing her. That nigga went through his whole career like that, man.
Yeah.
His whole career. I'm talking about he did that for a good 15 years, man. You know?
Yeah,
That nigga went back to shooting the dice, which was his best game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shoot them dice, nigga. You know what I mean? Cause this ain't really for you. He thought he was gonna sit up there and fuck his way to the top. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this Pimpin, this Pimpin, a little bit different, man. You know what I mean? A lot different. You know what I mean? You can't fuck your way up to the top, baby. You know what I mean? It's a lot of niggas that's they got a few bitches that like them and shit like that. But like we always say, when your dick goes soft, the pimpin' still going hard, man. You know what I mean? So you bound to get knocked. The way you start, you know what I mean? That's the way you finish. If you started the shit with fornication, or you knocked the bitch because of your situation, hey man, that situation is a definition of temporary around this motherfucker. You getting ready to get knocked around this bitch real soon. Real soon.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Cash.
He probably did.
Cash, you on there?
Yeah, I think hold on, let me check. Yeah, Cash still on.
Cash busy, man. Yeah. Cash ain't on there right now. But yeah, man, that's just one of the stories from the book, man. I got a whole lot more, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's just one of them, man. And the part about it, man, and I really like that nigga, man. He's like my partner, man. He like you and Freeze, man. You know what I'm saying? He was my partner, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, me and Freeze had heated arguments and misunderstandings, but just to keep it 100, bro ain't never got on no tripping over the bitch. And I think that's one of the main reasons why, we like brothers. It's kind of like we cut the same. You know what I mean? Like, if Freeze was to get at a bitch that I had, or if he had a bitch that I had, in all honesty, this is what separate me and Freeze from most of these niggas that say that they pimp. If Freeze sit up there and come up on a bitch that I had, I have or whatever, I'd rather see the bitch with Freeze than a lot of you other niggas, because one thing that I know, Freeze gonna pimp. Freeze not gonna sit up there and try to be a male gigolo with the bitch. He not gonna sit up there and try to basically cause pregnancy so he can maintain the currency out that come from a pussy. You know what I mean? Freeze gonna actually pimp on the bitch. You know what I mean? The only thing that hurts, that should hurt a motherfucker when a bitch leave is if he didn't do no pimping. But if you pimped accordingly on that broad for the whole time that you was presiding over, you know what I mean? You shouldn't have no type of hard feelings whatsoever motherfucking ever. You know what I mean? So if she chews up, you know what I mean, on your nigga, one of your partners or somebody in your group, shit, that's just me. That's a blessing to the game, because it was like the bitch left a Harvard University pimp, and she went to a Stanford University pimp. She might went to a different school, but she still kept it Ivy League though. She didn't leave Harvard University or Ivy League school and go to a nigga that ain't even got community college knowledge about this pimping. You know what I'm saying? I can respect it. Johnny, I thought Johnny had came back on. I guess he still ain't. Hold on, I ain't even went through the comments.
That's what I was referring. That's what I was referring back to Johnny, going on what you were saying. Just like I said, the way you start off, the way you end up, and that's why I was about to tell Johnny, that's why he started off with that bitch the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a new one that he had.
Oh, and let me. Hold on. Go ahead, Ted. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. No, that's I was start off the way you end up. That's some shit right there.
I was gonna also. I was gonna also say this. A lot of you niggas is trying to fuck your way to the top, and you know what I mean. Hey, and Freeze probably already know the direction that I'm going, but hey, man, check this out. A lot of you niggas, you not even blessed in that department. So you taking this your little piece out, or even your big piece that you don't know what to do with it, and you sit up there and fuck on the bitch. I'll give you one little movie. This night it ain't even a movie, it really happened. This well-known, I wouldn't call him a Mac, a player, a hustler. He had the opportunity to sit up there and do some pimping on a well-known thief in the game. You know what I'm saying? This bitch basically, you understand me, she's as we call it, she a golden glove. The bitch is a motherfucking thief. You know what I mean? She can seduce and reduce the motherfucking world, man. So, okay. One of my partners, he's presiding over the thief. He from Chicago. He come to Vegas. He got the thief with him. He come around the Mac dude, the player type of guy, you know what I mean? And he thinking that, they buddies, because they been fucking with each other, since the 80s and shit. So they chopping it up. But by the bitch basically being over there, and plus she had already knew him already from this old faggot ass site that I ain't even gonna mention. But she come to the environment. She see how nice the crib is and everything like that. And plus, my partner was doing some things that I didn't approve of. The game didn't approve of. So he ended up getting spanked. So when the bitch decided to make a move, she made a move to the player type. Macish type of dude, the dude that ain't really a pimp. So, this thief, right. One thing that I forgot to tell y'all is, now, me personally, she not really my preference. But to these guys, she is, you know what I'm saying? She got a nice little ass that's paid for and titties, that's sitting up, on dubs, you know what I mean? So, these guys, they like on the bitch. Plus, she make a lot of money. So, okay, bam. The bitch give this nigga a Breitling, 1,800, just to see what he gonna do. The bitch actually had more money and more watches than that. You know what I mean? Because that's the type of bitch she is. So she give him that, and as soon as she broke herself to him, man, the nigga pulled out, I wouldn't even call it a blessing. He pulled out whatever he pulled out on the bitch. You know what I mean? And of course, one thing these hoes, they'll try to act like they super hoes. Oh my God, I was so displeased. And this nigga ain't bring no pimping. And that's true. But a lot of niggas, man, be trying to come in with the dick. And nigga, that ain't even your gift. You don't even got no dick to be given. So number one, you losing in that department. You ain't got no game. You ain't got no pimping. The bitch didn't even like the dick. When she talked to the pimpin', she gonna say he wasn't no pimp. He wasn't this. But when she talked to her little hoe friends and shit like that, girl, he pulled out something smaller than my child's dick. Girl, I was like, I can't be paying no small dick to pimp, nigga. You know what I mean? So a lot of y'all, man, you gotta stop doing that, man. You fucking up your action, man. You know what I mean? You're sitting over there allowing your lust to ruin your chances of even having them green dollars that say in God we trust. Simply because you want to fuck all day. You know what I mean? So let that be a lesson. Keep your dick in your pants. You know what I mean? Stop sitting up there thinking. Matter of fact, that's the way that the trick even think. You thinking with your little lustful mind. And so many have played themselves out of some big time money, some longevity, because you sat up there, man, and pulled out your dick. You know what I mean? And the bitch was like, you reminded her of so many suckers. You reminded her of the average nigga. And that's what the pimping is not. The pimping is not the average nigga. So, as Freeze like to say, one thing, a woman could tell a pimp from a trick or a square or regular nigga is the pimping being able to say and do things that the common man and common nigga cannot do. And I like that definition, bro, by the way. But, yeah, Johnny, did you want to say something before we sit up there and go somewhere with the book? We haven't heard from you in 20 years, man. What's going on, Johnny?
Some more, man. Yeah, I'm snap all this motherfucker tipping off the wall with this joint, man. Yeah, man. Like I'm gonna say this right here, right?
Put your mouth all the way to the phone. You sound low right now.
Yeah. I'm in the middle. I was in the middle of having a little conversation, man. And the same shit that y'all touching base on is the same shit I'm having a conversation about, man. You know what I mean? About these niggas with all this fucking and all this sideways shit, man. It ain't even about that. You dig what I'm saying? It's about some motherfucking game, man. You dig what I'm saying? You know, that's what I just told Lil Mama. This shit is about the game, man. You know, nothing more, nothing less, man. You know what I mean? Whatever you got for me, sell it, man. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
For real, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But you know,
Cash, you was having a conversation with the bitch you had, Cash?
Yeah, man. You know,
man, you finna have that bitch, man.
Man,
Cash, you finna have that bitch, man.
Hey, her words not mine. Her words not mine. She ready. Whatever I want her to do, she ready right now. Yeah.
I like the way that sound.
Man.
I like the way that sound.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I like the way that sound.
Yeah. Pimp on that young motherfucker, man. I like that shit, man.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I'm telling you now. So shit.
Yeah, I definitely like the way matter of fact, okay, Tay, what would you say, you know what I mean, that you really started, what was the first year, or what was the year where you really started coming up in the game? You know, in other words, you already know, having it your way.
Shit, man. You know, I'd have to say 76, man. You understand me? Because believe it or not, man, you know, I went and I didn't have to, man. I had 3 white bitches, man. Say, man, I almost went 2 years, man, without buying me a car, man. You know what I'm saying, man?
Mm-hmm.
Having money like a motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just, the fascination with just stacking it and watch it grow. It was just fascinating to me, man. You know, and I'm stacking it so much, man, and so fast, man, and you know, buying them bitches outfits and buying myself outfits, man. You know, instead of stacking, you know, just didn't want to get up off that money to buy no car, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, but when a nigga really pimping, nigga got to be about that show and tell, man. So I knew I had to get in the motherfucker. I knew I had to buy a car, man. You know,
yeah.
So 76, man. You know, 76. I got 3 motherfucking white bitches, man. You know, and they had this. That's when the Cadillac dealer was on the corner of Sunset and Vine, man. You know, like a block from the Brown Derby, which is one of the biggest, you know, nightclubs and eating places in Hollywood, you know, during that time, man, the Brown Derby. Every movie you saw, they had the Brown Derby in there. But anyway, the Cadillac house was 1 block from that, man, right on the corner of Sunset and Vine, man. And they had this motherfucking 76 Eldorado in there, man, silver with the red guts in it, man. You know, Vogue tires had the rims already on there, and during that time they had that big old heavy ass grill on there with the look like the Rolls Royce lady, you know, sitting up on that joint, man. You know that grill was so heavy, man. You know, once you got that sucker up, man, you know, you had to ease it down. That hood was heavy in the motherfucker, man. But anyway, so it was my birthday. I hopped in the cab. The night before, man, I made preparation, man. You know, I broke my money down to 5s, 10s, and 20s, man, and put that shit in a paper bag from the market, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, had the little during that time they had the handles on the bags, man, that paper bag, man. And I filled that bag up with them 5s, 10s, and 20s, man. You know, and put them 3 white bitches in the cab, man. You know, and then headed down there to, man, the Sunset and Vine, man, to get that Eldorado, man. So on the way going down there, you know, I see this white bitch I've been at, right? So I pull over to the white bitch, you know, and as soon as I pull over, one of my other hoes is like, girlfriend, you know, hey, it's me, Sarah, it's me. You remember me? She's like, oh, yeah. She said, this is my man. This one I've been telling you about. I said, you been telling her about me? I said, shit, I been at this bitch for damn near a month now. You know? So I said, shit, bitch, get in. You know, shit, it's Tay's birthday. I'm going to get my car. Get in, bitch. Get in. You know, what you gonna do? You know? She's like, shit, I'm ready to choose. I'm getting in. Well, get in, bitch. Bitch, get in, man. I think that bitch had like 850 or something, man. So now I'm 4 white bitches strong, man. You know, all these bitches got on miniskirts. Bend over, you can see their ass, man. You know, so we walk up in a Lou Ellis Cadillac. That's the name of that. We walk up in Lou Ellis Cadillacs like that, man. You know, these 4 bitches, and I got this bag. So it's a brother out there on the floor, you know, selling cars. So I said, man, I want that car right there, man. He said, man, you got some credit? I said, no, I ain't got no credit, but look, I got this right here, man. You know, he looked at the back, man, you got to have some credit. But I was like, what? I wanted to say nigga what, but you know, I wasn't gonna call him no nigga, man, in front of them white bitches, man. I said, okay, man, cool, man. So I see the white boy. I see the white boy. I said, man, come over here, man. I said, look in here. He looked at me, he said, damn. I said, what? He said, oh, excuse me, sir. He said, how can I help you? I said, man, I want you to open up the windows, man, on that window, and I want to drive that motherfucking Cadillac out of here, man. I say, so take this bag right here, go find your manager, man. You understand me? And tell him what I want, man. Say, man, that motherfucker ran to the manager, man. You know, a few minutes later, man, the motherfucking manager, yes, he counted the money. You know, he came back and I think I had 11,000 in there. And 5s, 10s, and 20s. So you know how that paper bag look, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
So he come back, man, and he said, man, shoot, you heard what Mr. Parker said? He said, shit.
Give him his car. Right.
Mr. Parker, drive on up out of here, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
What's
know?
taking you so long?
Went back in there and signed the papers and shit, man, and, you know, rolled off in that motherfucker, man. That was 1976, man. I never will forget that shit, man. You know.
Hey, so that's probably, I'm pretty sure that was before the days when they had to report that to the IRS, huh?
Yeah, but no, wasn't none of that shit right then. No, they came about 10 years later, but it wasn't like that then, man. You know, they wasn't.
Right.
I'm telling you, they wasn't like, you know, shit wasn't like that then, man. You know.
Right.
Yeah, man.
You can't do that nowadays.
No. That shit, I think that stopped a long time ago. So when I went to buy my Auburn, man, you know, I had 12,000. And dude was like, no, man. He said, you got to give me $9,099, man. You know, I was like, what? He said, no, man, you got to give me $9,099 down, man. He said, then that's under 10,000, man. And then, you know, the feds ain't gonna bother you, man. You know, so that was like, shit, that was 10 years later, man, when that happened. So, you know, see, cause I'm telling you, man, during that time, man, Pimp was having a lot of money, man. But, you know, the nigga didn't have nothing to buy, man, because they wasn't like giving, you know, like now they giving up houses and they wasn't doing niggas like that with cash, man. That wasn't jumping off then, man. You know?
Right.
You know, all that shit changed, man. You know?
Yeah.
All that changed. Cash Red, no? Shit, I know he done told you some stories, man.
Yeah. They were telling me about the feds got up on them and, you know, would talk to them hoes and, you know, do a little search shit.
Yeah.
I used to play it all the way different back then, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. That nigga, he was a pimpin' motherfucker too, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Them niggas was coming out of Memphis then, man, shit, man. Them niggas was setting Hollywood on fire, man. You know? And niggas come out in packs, man. Wasn't no 1 or 2. You know? Yeah. But yeah, man, that's another story from that book, man. You know what I'm saying? And every time when I tell a story, I get excited, man, because I think back, man, on how that shit was, man. Now, come on, man, how many niggas, man, got 3 white bitches having money every day, man? You understand me? You know, bitches during them days, bitches getting 7, 8, 9s in the grand, man. You know, 500. You know, bitch come with 500. You know, bitch, you know you going back to work.
Right.
You know, ain't no bringing in no 500. You know, wasn't none of that shit jumping off, man. You know, and I just think about that, man. You know, shit, man. I kept, shit, man. And I kept 70, 80,000, man, in the jar, man, in my motherfucking bedroom, because I didn't mess with no banks, man. I kept that money in there, man. Every day I check them. I take out 1,000, put it in my pocket, and just throw the money. The cops and traps and just throw shit in the jar, man, and then call it at the end of the month, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Now
you know what I'm saying? Shit. Sometimes that drawer be about ready to bust open. Cash be so much up in that motherfucker, man. You know?
Hey, it's funny you say that, how you didn't used to mess with the banks, because it just made me think about that Willie Dynamite story, man. And I know you probably know some pimps back then who probably really went through some shit like that, like he went through in the movie.
Yeah.
Then how people got all in his business and shutting bank accounts down and all that.
Right,
Yeah, that shit was gay as hell. Yeah, I remember.
You ever heard this PI out of Memphis by Robert McCraney?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Robert McCraney got rich down there in Memphis, right? And them feds seized his bank accounts and shit, right? And they seized his bank accounts, and the man had new lax. Yeah, Robert McCraney. The man had a whole section of downtown Memphis that was his corner. That was his corner. They call them Craney corners. They couldn't nobody other hoes work. They said that man had 15, 20 of the finest yellow bone bitches you ever want to see in your life. You know what I'm saying? And they say he was a big nigga. I never met him. They say he was a big nigga. Looked like a gorilla with a mouth full of gold. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
That motherfucker.
Right.
But anyway, man got his money for years. Went in the bank one day. They say, oh no, your shit froze, Mr. McCraney. Froze? Like, man, y'all gonna give me my motherfucking money up out of here. Like, no, we can't, Craney. You know, they didn't seize your account. That man went got about 5, 6 of them bitches. Man came back up in there with the motherfucking pistol and robbed that motherfucker. Robbed that motherfucker, man.
That nigga said.
Went to the federal prison for that shit and everything. Yes, sir.
That nigga said, if y'all give it to me, I'm gonna take your shit.
Hey.
He took it and they say the police showed up at his house, man, and told him, come on out, Rob.
Hey, Tay.
Come on out. They said the man had a house that was a block long down there.
Hey, Tay.
Yeah.
Now my channel is the truth channel, and I just want, from your perspective, because you seen what was going on between Jimmy Starr and Rosebud, and a lot of people basically was reading Facebook statuses and things, and we want people to know, man, them Facebook, a lot of them Facebook stories and shit that y'all be reading and things, and a lot of people books. That's why, if you notice, like I said, Sinful to P don't give his stamp of approval for everybody book, because number one, I always check in with the authentic. That's like somebody telling me that they was a giant in Memphis, and I called Johnny Cash, and Johnny don't know him, and Johnny called Red don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody in Chicago claiming that they was this or they did this on the West Side. And none of my partners know him. I don't know him. You know what I mean? Somebody said they've been doing big things, in Southern Cali, and they say they've been doing it from 07. I called Freeze. I don't know him. Freeze don't know him. We call our partners. Don't nobody know him. So it's a lot of niggas that got some great stories of some pimping that they did, but the problem is they the only ones that know that they did this great pimping. The pimps don't know it, the hoes don't know it, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying because I wasn't there, but I just want you young people to know that a lot of older people are going to tell you things and you wasn't there. So of course, if they show you a picture or two, you know what I'm saying? Because this 1P, matter of fact, with me and Freeze, this 1P, I can't even say a P, but he used to have a picture of a Jag, and he used to talk about all of this great pimping that he used to do, back up in the day. And, all he would show is this picture of this Jag, but he would paint it, the picture that he would paint in me and Freeze mind, as if he had a large following like King Solomon, and he was living better than Solomon in the game. So, when we check in with pimps, pimps that was pimping and having it their way at the time, come to find out, pimps ain't never even seen you with a bitch. I never had a bitch. So I told Freeze, I said, hey man, this nigga is the greatest pimp that ever lived that never pimped. He never pimped, but he the greatest pimp in his mind. You know what I'm saying? So, cause, I wasn't there. But of course, all of the young people got to see the statuses and things like that. But you was around that time. What do you think of that whole little situation that transpired between Bud and Jimmy Stock?
Well, man, I know I can say this, man. Shit. Bud was a pimpin' motherfucker, man. You understand what I'm saying? And everybody know Bud, cross country, man. You know what I'm saying? See, now, the story really, that story wasn't true, man. That story wasn't true, man. None of that shit happened with Bud.
Yeah, because
about the broad.
Because from what Jimmy was saying, yeah. What'd you say?
I know a lot of dudes probably don't want to really hear that, man. You know what I'm saying? And they probably think that I'm just co-signing that because I know Bud. But shit, man, the truth is the light, man. You know what I'm saying, man? And motherfuckers still know about Rosebud cross country, man. But a lot of people just got to know the other people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And them other people can't get no voucher from nobody except a few Bay Area niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Because so like I said, I wanted them to be able to hear from somebody who was actually there, because it's like this. Like, for example, as much as I love Freeze, if Freeze sit up there and tell a story to the young people when we 60 and 70 years old, and he said that he knocked President Obama, for Michelle, and Michelle gave him $5 million. And he took 4 of the $5 million and donated it to children, and then the next day he broke another bitch for $20 million. And he got the young people like, God damn. And I'm gonna have to walk away. I can't participate in a story like that. That's just like if I tell a story and I'm sitting up there talking about, yeah, man, at the time, I had 15 S550s, I had 30 Phantoms, I had 10 helicopters, I had 100 bitches, I had just knocked God for a bitch and I served Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I was really having it my way, man, in that 2017. You know what I'm talking about? And I got all the young pimps like, oh, man, for real? And then you talk to the pimps from my time and they gonna be like, no. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you young people, because you just like I was, like Freeze was. When I first got into the game, and I came across a lot of older people that was telling all of these great stories, but they was down on their luck. They couldn't pay for their hotel room, or they needed some food and things like that because of my love for the game. And I was so impressionable at that time and so in love with just the ism. Anytime an older P asked for anything or something like that, I was there because I'm thinking that, pimping is pimping. And right now, pimping ain't got a hoe right now. So the game got to look out for the game. And little did I know until some older, authentic pimps like, hey, man, that nigga wasn't no. I remember one of my P partners, Fast Eddie, he tell me about this one nigga that used to call himself the Godfather. I ain't going to get into that. He said, man, that nigga wasn't no pimp. That nigga was a Harlem Globetrotter, nigga. He's a basketball player. He wasn't a pimping. You know what I'm saying? You over there jugging and giving money. You helping a basketball player out with his room, nigga. That nigga ain't the pimpin'. So that's why it's always good to talk to older representation, not just for information to help you out, but to know what is, what ain't, and what never was. You know what I mean? You only gonna get that chopping it up with the older pimps. Hold on.
Right.
Look at this time.
That's right, man.
So many local dope poppers.
Hey, speaking of which, Tay, did you know a cat back in Hollywood back in the day named Mac Man from New York?
Mac Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a Mac Man from New York. Yeah.
He went down. He went. Yeah, he about like 5'10". He went down like in the early '80s for robbing banks, and did a whole bunch of years. He did like 20-something years. But he used to be in Hollywood. He used to be in Hollywood back like in the probably like from the mid '70s to the early '80s. And right now, let's see. Right now, he probably about like. I think right now he probably about like 62. He about 62 years old right now.
Yeah, that was on the cracker. Yeah, I knew a nigga named Mac Man from the East Coast, man. I don't know if it's the same one, man. You know,
the one that
light skinned cat.
Dude, light skinned man. I had this apartment on Sunset, right across from the Comedy Store, which still there. You know, and I remember because Etta James, she had the whole Penthouse floor. She rented every apartment on that floor and turned it into her own. But anyway, make a long story short, they had the after hours in the apartment complex, and didn't hardly number pimps live in the whole building damn near. But anyway, I knew a nigga named Mac Man that was staying there too. He was from New York, man. Loud talking ass nigga, man. He can talk that shit, man. Cause nobody out talk to nigga, man. I don't know if that's the same one.
Yeah, it sound
yeah,
like
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That sound like Mac Man.
Talking motherfucker.
That sound like Mac Man, bro.
Yeah. That sound like him.
Yeah. Fast talking, slick talking, real slick with the words.
Take a break, man. He ain't taking breath.
Nah, he ain't taking no breaks.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, always that a bitch. Highly intelligent, but his problem was he was always all world. He always was trying to mix it to fix it. You know, even when he was presiding over some beautiful girls in the game, he had other things basically, you know what I mean, to come up in the game. So he was never really.
Sure sound like, because that's what he was doing that bad, man, mixing it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, that sound like the same dude, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And the cold part about it, man, they said back in them days, man, they said he was 3 deep with like some gorgeous white bitches, man.
But see that.
He was always was into some other shit.
But just to use him.
He kept that powder, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the same dude, man.
It definitely. But just to use him for an example, you know, so many, especially in today's time, so many, you know, they stray away from straight lace pimping. They don't pimp according to the rules and regulations of the game. And that so many of them want to be rappers. They want to be just like the rappers. They want to be just like the images that they see on VH1 and BET. So instead of sticking to the rules and regulations and doing what's vital to the title of a PIMP, they do things to basically be like the images that they see on BET. They want to be like the dope dealers. So, of course, you know what I mean? They got all type of shit going on that don't got nothing to do with this game. And by these bitches not really being real hoes, they don't care about the situation that these guys have. They don't care if the situation came from the game or whether it came from a settlement or whether it came from lottery or whether it came from selling dope or anything like that. So with bitches constantly choosing situations, that's why a lot of these retarded, You know what I mean? Ritalin babies is creeping up in the motherfucking game. Niggas that can't even spell their name on the smartphone by the grace of God. You just got a lot of fraudulent, belligerent, ignorant motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, in this game. And, you know, even on, and a lot of people speak against the internet. But I thank God for the internet, because if it wasn't for Facebook and different apps, I would have had never even known the degree of busterism that a lot of you niggas is at. You know what I mean? Because in the street, you'll see somebody sending a bitch, having a bitch, you know what I mean, parking, chopping it up with the pimping. Next thing you know, his bottom game or his baby mama, you know what I mean, putting all his business out that the guy was messing around with a transsexual and shit and all type of shit that you would have never even known, you know what I mean, mingling in the streets. You know what I mean? So I thank God that I found out certain information, because I didn't want to ruin my representation by hanging around you niggas that's committing all these abominations in the street you niggas is fucking with. Transsexuals, you fucking on other niggas' hoes and shit. You know what I mean? And a lot of you niggas was coming up. For you know what I'm talking about, a lot of niggas was coming up, you know, in they mind, fucking on other niggas' hoes, being gigolos and shit like that. But once these bitches started getting into some evangelism with the criticism, and everybody found out that you really was just a full-blown sucker, that was a male actress acting like you was a pimp, you know what I mean? Now don't no bitches want to fuck with you no more. Now you holeless and doleless. You singing Deborah Cox, How Did I Get Here? Hey man, to you young pimps, stay straight-laced pimping. You know what I mean? Do not stray away from the pimping. You might be in your Cadillac. You might be in that motherfucking Acura Legend. You know what I'm saying? And that sucker might be driving an S550 or a Phantom in the year. And I'm here to tell you, man, you pimping accordingly, whether you got $100, $500, $800 in your pocket. You straight-laced pimping. That $800 is more valuable than that $80,000 that this sucker got mixing it to fixing in all these different lanes and shit. You know what I mean? Stay pimping. That's all pimps do, is pimps. Pimps don't sell drugs. They don't work no job. You know what I mean? They're not sitting over there mixing it to fix it. All pimps do is pimp. I just had to get that out, man. But, hey, Tay, did you want to give them some information before we leave? Did you want to tell them your Instagram, your Facebook?
Instagram is Schauntte Parker. Facebook is Schauntte Parker. You know, and all you gotta do is just call me, hit me on Facebook, or call me at 323-907-6687. You know, and I'll hook you up with the book. You know, inbox me your address. I give you my PayPal number, and I get the book to you. Hey, but I just want to speak on one thing right quick. Hey, man, you know what else is real important in the game, man? Is nigga reputation. Cause Cash on there.
Johnny probably switched over. He been clicking over, talk. You know, Johnny been at that bitch the whole time.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Johnny at that bitch, man.
Yeah, I had to hear you. Good thing too, but yeah, I can hear y'all. What
Yeah. I know you. Hey, Cash. Your reputation followed you before I knew about you before I even met you, man. You know what I'm saying, me? You know, because they was talking about, man, you know, when you had them problems with them people, niggas talking about, man, that nigga having dope dealer money, man. That nigga has a Memphis, man. That nigga having dope dealer money, man. What's this nigga, man? I keep hearing this nigga name ringing, man. Who the fuck is this nigga, man?
Yeah.
You know? Never knowing that we know the same people, man. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why nigga reputation in the game is very important, man. You know?
Yeah.
Man, I take a reputation before I take some money, because with a reputation, you gonna get a hope and you gonna get paid, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Believe that. I told y'all this today, hey, bitch. Hey, my respect means more to me than any amount of money. You dig what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Give me my motherfucking respect, man.
Hey,
Cash, you at that bitch, man.
Yeah, man, like a motherfucker.
yeah.
Cash, you at that bitch, man.
Hey, I pulled out the Uzi, the Mac 10. Hey, I'm
Hey. But yeah, I'm gonna have to leave off because I got some business to take care of. Freeze. Did you want to tell them your information?
Yeah, man. As far as YouTube goes, I ain't been active on there in a minute, but I'm about to get back active on there. But YouTube, if you just type in Freeze It.
Freeze is it. IZIT. Go ahead.
Yeah, Freeze IZIT and the number 1. I'll pop up under that. Or if you just type in Freeze is it. Like if you type that in as one word, or you can just type in Freeze is it and not pop up. But Instagram, my Instagram is even my hello costs. And this underscore is all in between that. Even my hello.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let them know I'm serious about this shit. It's not a game. But that's the Instagram, and then my Facebook is Sanford Skolex. Sanford SANFORD. Skolex SCOLEX. You can find me on Facebook like that. And my Snapchat is Freeze.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Snapchat is Freeze _IZIT.
Johnny, did you want to give your information?
Yeah, man, they can get up. Shit, what's my new Facebook shit, gang? What is it?
It's Game God Cash.
Yeah,
God Cash.
Yeah, that's the Facebook. And the IG, y'all know what that joint is. Go GOG.O.A.T_China Cash.
Right.
Get in, man.
Cash, I know you went through a 6-pack of that motherfucking water, man. I know your mouth dry, man. Was spitting at that hole, man. You understand what I'm saying, man? So I know you done went through that 6-pack already, man. By the time you go through that whole case, man, you finna be in that jag, you finna be in that motherfucking jag, man, gonna scoop that hoe up, Cash, you know what I'm saying? But I know you went through, I know your mouth dry, man. I know you went through the motherfucking 6-pack already, Cash. I know that, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully by the next time we get back on the line together, I'll be telling y'all what the count is. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like always, it's always a pleasure. Good.
I'm just fixing to hop in my car, man, and going up here to Hollywood, man, and break these 20.
Yeah.
Hey, you say Schauntte. I know you got bills you gotta take care of, man. So do I, man. Hey, until we meet again, man, y'all gentlemen, be safe, man. And I'm gonna holler at y'all in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right. Okay, man, I got to sit up there and take care of some business. But as you know, it's always a pleasure. I hope you guys live as long as you want, never want as long as you live. Follow me on Instagram because I post stuff on my Instagram and Facebook all the time that I don't post on YouTube. Go to Instagram, SIN_FUL. That's SIN_FUL. And then go to Facebook, SIN _FUL GILMORE. And follow me on Facebook, man. It's been a pleasure. And Schaunte's book, From the Lobby to the Penthouse. You know what I mean? He gave the information for y'all to get the book. But definitely get that. For every young P that's in the game, I want you to get that book, man. And definitely read it. Get back to me and give me your input. And let me know how it was a blessing to you. 1.